to represent the country in the World Championships next year. We'll be back after this.
This is the all-new Mazda
Club with seventh-end action in this Pepsi Junior Men's Championship involving Ontario and New Brunswick. The Junior Championship, actually first known as the Schoolboy Championship, began in 1950. Pepsi-Cola assumed sponsorship in 1958. It was then called the Pepsi Schoolboy. And 1958 also saw the introduction of the Pepsi-Cola Trophy. And that year it was won by the rink from Prince Edward Island, skipped by Tom Todd. But the Pepsi Schoolboy became the Pepsi Junior in 1976 after the age limits were moved to 19 to match the guidelines for World Junior Curling. And talking about that World Junior Championship, it will take place in Victoria in the month of March. The Uniroyal World Junior Championship, and Canada will be represented by the Hugh McFadyen rink from Manitoba.
And that's very correct. And from the Assiniboine Memorial Curling Club, home of Karen Purdy.
A 5-4 loser this afternoon to Julie Sutton for the Pepsi Junior Women's Crown. Two stones sitting out in front of the rings, one belonging to each side. It's all even at 3.
After 6 ends, Don, the best curler on the ice is Wayne Madara. 92%. That's unbelievable curling for a skip.
Very confident young man. We talked with him last night, and he felt that his rink was curling very well, that he himself had really come along in the tiebreaker and the semifinal game against British Columbia. They had actually been rolling along well in round-robin play. They staggered just a bit, but the important thing through round-robin competition is to make sure you get into the playoff action.
Well, that's what you strive for. Originally, when you start out in the competition, you just want to make the playoffs. And then, like you said earlier, they seem to be peaking at the right time. They're playing it with a lot of confidence. And, you know, once you start playing with a lot of confidence, everything becomes automatic. Not a shot scares you. You can play the come-arounds, the tap-backs, the doubles, the freezes. And when you play with a lot of confidence, let me tell you, you're tough to beat. And you'll see he was out having a look at the guard in relation to the one he's trying to take out here. And he wants to make sure that he hits and maybe gets a little bit of an inside roll. If he gets an inside roll, there's a good chance he could score 2 here. And he's gone to the intern of Dave Hanna, being a left-hander. They got to sweep this one. They want to get the inside roll. Not going to get the inside roll. He's going to hit it pretty well on the nose.
Again, Ontario lies 1. Well, there's more at stake than just a junior championship here in Prince Albert. The winner will go on to represent Canada in the Uniroyal World Junior next year. The 1988 event will take place in Fusen, West Germany.
Ooh. Yes, I'm sure both teams in the back of their mind are thinking of that.
This year's World Junior Championship in Victoria, Canada will be represented, as we said, by the Hugh McFadyen foursome from Manitoba. They went through round-robin play and the championship game without a loss last year in Red Deer.
Very solid team. We're going to be well represented at the World Championship.
Charlie Sullivan, who throws third stones for New Brunswick, had the best percentage during round-robin play. He curled at 79% during the weekend competition as the team compiled a record of 9 wins and 2 losses.
No! You can see how straight that ice is running. Look at that rock on that center line. It hasn't made a move yet, and he hasn't overthrown this rock. Now it's starting to come across a bit. Look at this beautiful hit and roll.
When a third makes 79% of his shots, it's a lot easier for the skip, isn't it?
Just mop up. That's what it is. Just mop up. Free draw for 2 or hit for 3. That's what.
Well, I don't know whether his father, Charlie Sullivan, in the New Brunswick men's playdowns, is able to glance at the television this afternoon, but I'm sure he is trying to sneak a peek at the tube every time his son is there and ready to throw. The New Brunswick playdowns taking place this weekend, as we mentioned, at the Capital Winter Club in Fredericton, the home club of the New Brunswick rink. Peter Connor, the third man on the Ontario rink. They curl out of the Brampton Club.
This is a tough shot for Corner because the rock runs very straight there. He has the guard to worry about. Oh, is he going to get it by? He's got a good-looking shot. Look at that. That rock actually fell against the guard, and he hit it right on the nose. Beautiful shot. Beautiful weight control by Peter, that shot.
In addition to being a good curler, he carries a 5 handicap in golf. Plays some racquetball and is a skier.
Look at that. He just skinned by the guard. Looking for a little bit of a roll, but let me tell you, it was pretty tough to roll behind that guard because the ice actually fell out there. Nice control. And now for Sullivan, of course, he has to try and duplicate this shot. Charles Sullivan. He's throwing about the same way as Peter Corner. You hear him yelling, whoa, whoa, whoa.
He's got a good-looking shot as well.
Is it going to hang around? No, it spins out of the rings. Now, that'll leave the opportunity for Wayne Madad to get in around that corner guard.
First objective, though, for Charlie Sullivan was to remove that shot rock.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. Make sure you get out of the rings. It's unfortunate he couldn't have stuck there because then Ontario would have had to make a play on it.
So Peter Corner now will be attempting to go behind that corner guard. As we said, he's a police cadet with the Halton Regional Police Force in Oakville. Eventually would like to be a detective.
Just wait. Wow, right on.
Lots of weight, lots of room. He is well by that guard. A little bit too much ice in this shot.
Ontario lies 1, the stone fully into the 4-foot circle.
I think, Don, maybe Wayne Madad just gave Peter just a little bit too much ice. He was outside the center line and runs very straight there. Of course, in Wayne's defense, if he takes any bit less, it might have curled and wrecked on the guard. So rather than be safe than sorry. Now we'll see what kind of weight James Sullivan is going to throw on this one. He likes to throw the big takeout weight.
Jim Sullivan has been curling for 7 years, but this rink has only been together 4 months. As we said earlier, Darrell Burgess is from Truro, Nova Scotia. In 1985, he participated in the Pepsi Junior Championships, curling with Don Bentley of Nova Scotia. He was throwing lead stones in those 85 championships. Joined forces this year with this group from Fredericton, and here they are battling for the Canadian Junior Men's Championship. The stone just delivered by Sullivan, coming to rest in the top of the 4-foot. Three is the score, playing end number 7.
Well, Wayne here would like to hit and roll behind that corner guard, Don. And if he's not going to roll completely behind it, he would like maybe to roll to the other side and force Sullivan maybe just a hit and stick, and then he'd have a chance to blank the end. If he doesn't get the perfect roll, he'd like to maybe roll a little bit to the left. See where the brush is being held, just about the center of the rock. And for Wayne, it's just a concentration. He doesn't want to overthrow it, doesn't want to underthrow it. They jumped on it right away.
Here. Yep. Hurry! Right up!
They actually tried to roll it the other way and left a little bit, rolled about 3 or 4 inches, but just a little bit thinner, he would have rolled away over to the corner of the sheet.
Told Wayne I was a little disappointed in him last night. I asked if he had a curling hero. I thought he'd say yes, Don Duguid. He could have made some really good points if he'd have come back with that reply, but he said no. Russ Howard is the curler he admires, and you even bought him dinner and attempted to bribe him.
Didn't work.
But he admires the curling talents of one Russ Howard, and Russ is involved in those Ontario playdowns.
Yes, he is. Yeah.
He represented Ontario last year.
It's a good curling team, good, solid. They'll be very difficult to beat in that Ontario playdowns, especially with the experience of last year.
The wide open hit facing Jim Sullivan, the New Brunswick skip.
Breeze well on the outside of that one. It should start to come across a little bit now. Ah, nice little roll to it. Changes position of the rock a little bit. Takes Wayne Medaw out a little bit wider on the sheet.
So there's Lisa Sullivan, who is a cousin of James and the sister of Charles. And she skipped her New Brunswick rink to a record of 5 and 6 in the junior women's competition. Our overhead camera gives you a view of the 3 rocks that are in play. 1 in the rings, 2 outside, the yellow-handled stones belonging to New Brunswick. And that shot rock is the one that Wayne Medaw is going after with the in-turn takeout.
He wants to roll out with this one. You got to make sure they make contact first, of course. He's got a good shot. He's going to hit where the rock roll out. Good shot by Wayne.
So he is able to blank end number 7 and retain last rock advantage into end number 8. And there, as we mentioned, is a pretty good crowd taking in the action here at the Prince Albert Golf and Curling Club, watching this championship game between Ontario and New Brunswick with the score dead even at 3-all.